This, believe it or not, is a film about money and about people. It's a film about Britain's largest finance house, a £500 million group, United Dominions Trust.
Oh, UDT.
That's right.
The chaps who lend other chaps money to buy cars?
Well, yes. But actually, there's a bit more to us than that. You see, to begin with, we don't just lend money. We're recognized by the Bank of England as a bank. You can invest with us if you like.
Is it safe?
Absolutely.
Good terms?
First class. This is where some of our money comes in.
The widow's mite, I suppose.
Yes, we do take small savings from the public. But some of these must be pretty substantial widows.
Hello, sir. I'm still looking for a bit of a weak fix, about £1 million.
I can buy that 5 by 1 year £500,000 from you.
You've got some money for us, have you? How much? 3 million? Yes, I'd take that.
Be about £1 million, Ron, to run over the end of February.
At 5.5 for the first year.
3 months? Right, 4 and 3/16 for 3 months. I'll do that.
45.
15 for mine. 3, set up.
Where are we now? Is this still UDT?
Yes. This is a piece of the action at one of our subsidiaries, the London Produce Clearing House in Mincing Lane. It services the futures markets in such commodities as cocoa, coffee, sugar and wool. It's difficult for the outsider to understand exactly what's going on.
Impossible, I'd say.
Well, briefly, the chairman is calling out the prices at which sugar can be bought or sold for future delivery. In 3 months' time, say, or perhaps more than a year from now. The prices are then flashed instantly all over the world. Exactly the same system operates in cocoa.
I suppose it's really just a form of gambling.
Only in the sense that all business involves taking risks. Actually, the futures market is a way of insuring against possible fluctuations in price. Our business is to register and guarantee the contracts that are being made and to hold the deposits and margins that are paid in. Is that clear?
Not to me. I must say I'm surprised to find UDT involved in this sort of thing.
We're very internationally minded, you know. We run a similar market in wool in Sydney, Australia.
16 now. Set up.
One of your customers?
No, one of our secretaries.
Exercising her horse before she goes to the office?
Yeah, that's it. She works at UDT's biggest offices out on the edge of London's Greenbelt. She and about 600 others make up the staff of the Customer Accounts Centre of the biggest company in our finance house division.
Don't tell me. They're the people who lend money to buy cars.
Right. Cars, caravans, yachts, loans for house improvements, industrial plant, all sorts of transactions, large and small, from the private individual to the big company.
To come to an arrangement with them for payment of the monthly installments under the type of authority which would you please advise us whether you wish to pay by this method or whether you wish to direct debit authority to remain
Close here with a copy of court form 18A in brackets default and 28 in brackets 2 and should be obliged if it applied by signature.
The above vehicle is now registered in your name and we wish to confirm that it is the subject of an undischarged agreement with us.
The 5 transactions to which you refer were all unsecured. I was requested that you call again when it would be convenient for you to leave the vehicle on their premises, full stop.
How do you keep track of all these deals?
We have a computer.
I might have known.
The people who make computers tell us it's one of the best data processing installations in the country.
How many accounts does it handle?
Over 500,000.
Frightening.
But very convenient for everybody. If you're one of our customers and you want to know the latest score on your account, you simply ring up, we ask the computer, and back comes the answer in about 2 seconds. Watch.
Good afternoon, can I help you? Yes, can I have the reference number? Yes, and your name, please. Would you like to hold on? This gentleman would like a settlement figure in this case.
Yes, well, if you just cue it in here, we'll give it back to him.
Doesn't this mean transactions aren't confidential anymore?
Let's ask the man in charge of customer accounts. Jack Billett.
Well, the fact that we now use a very large computer system in no way means that our customers' accounts are any less confidentially kept than they used to be under a manual system. In fact, I would say that on a computer system, they are more confidential than they used to be. And in fact, you can see from the screens which we use how very quickly we can get information from the computer and pass it to our customers.
I bet if I were to fall behind in my payments, it'd be on me like a ton of bricks.
Well, of course, the unexpected sometimes happens. And undoubtedly, some people require assistance from time to time in cases of hardship. And I think really we've now been in the business long enough to spot the genuine ones and help them, although of course there always will be some who perhaps try to pull the wool over our eyes.
You say you're the biggest finance house. How do you get your business?
We've got over 100 branch office managers to do that. Our man in Bristol, for instance, is John Hibbs. What does he like about the job?
Well, I've always been interested in money, and it's a delightful thing to be interested in. I started off in a bank, and then I went on to a building society before I joined UDT. And as opposed to a sort of joint stock bank, you don't sort of sit in the office and wait for people to come in and see you. We go out, as we are today, and meet people in many walks of life, commerce, industry, and you may be one day sort of up to your knees in mud on a farm, round a quarry another day. We do, in fact, have an association with 2 or 3 quarries, this being the part of the world where all the stone for the roadways, the motorways is made and is refined. And of course these people do require equipment for stone crushing, the commercial vehicles to take the stone to the motorways. We do an awful lot of finance with plant hire companies who tend to purchase very large and expensive pieces of excavating equipment, diggers and the like.
The advantage to us is that with our £500,000 worth of equipment, we don't have capital tied up, and the machines can earn while we are paying for them.
One of our other customers is a rather large new country club, which is just about to open in Somerset.
Believe it or not, in approximately 5 days' time, we hope to open. This has been quite a costly project, but with the help of the UDT, they have installed central heating at a cost of £5,000.
One of the retail shops which we help to finance the sale of their goods is a music and organ centre.
This is one of the range of organs we do, from £275 to £5,500. For those wishing to take up credit terms, we recommend UDT.
Our main, our bread and butter, I suppose, for the want of a better word, is the motor trade and the business that they introduce to us. People that wish to buy cars on credit through the network of motor dealers that we have, the application is passed to us, and we decide whether or not to lend them the money to buy the car.
What would the deposit be on this one?
You get deposit £300, which is 25%.
And what would the repayments be over what period?
Over a 3-year period.
And could I have it over less than that if I wanted to?
Oh yes, you can have it over 1 or 2 year periods.
If I wanted to have a car, say, for £2,000, could I get it less than 25%?
Yes, we do make a 20% deposit.
I see, because this really is the car that I'm interested in.
As well as our connection with the car trade, we have a very large connection with the caravan industry. Throughout the country, we finance 50% of all caravans today sold on credit.
This is a BK36 2-bedroom mobile home. A home that for just £300 deposit, a young couple can set themselves up with the house furnished with everything they would need. Curtains, carpets, furniture, bathroom, in fact everything.
When you start an interview, you often need to encourage the interviewee to start talking. And if he senses disapproval on your part, he will stop.
Understanding people is a very important part of our outlook at UDT.
I'm delighted to hear it.
In fact, we run our own staff training courses, where the emphasis is very much on the human approach. For example, how to conduct an interview.
In certain situations of allowing the interviewee to save face. And we must realize the need for tact when dealing with a person's private and personal affairs.
Well, I mean, I think he could have asked the engineer why he was doing it at that speed. Had he been given any special instructions before telling him to alter it?
Study groups are given a case history of something that went wrong and then thrash out a solution.
In his previous experience as sort of area engineer, he should know exactly what's going on.
Perhaps he has made his decision based on incorrect or insufficient information, but in his own eyes he had enough information to make the decision.
I mean, it was generally known that there were visits made to the site, obviously.
Just how many people work for UDT?
About 8,000 in 10 different countries. We're big enough nowadays to need our own printing works. All the forms we use, brochures, group literature, headed notepaper, they can all be turned out here.
Tell me about some of your other companies. I mean, the ones not involved in finance.
Well, it's all finance in one way or another. If you're involved in making motorways, you can hire some of our road rollers. If you're a big oil company, you can hire some of our 1700 special-purpose rail wagons from our company BRT. And if you're stuck for a car, you can hire one from our own Swan Rent-A-Car company.
Good afternoon. Can I help you?
Yes, we would like to rent a Hillman Hunter for 24 hours.
Yes, certainly. From now, sir?
Yes, please.
Have you had from us before?
No, we haven't.
So you're not familiar with our rates?
No.
Well, if I explain them to you, they're down here, sir. There's two rates, time and mileage, and unlimited.
How big are you in car hire?
In the first half dozen.
But you try hard.
30 branches already, and over 1,000 cars.
On a one-day hire, I take a £10 deposit. This covers your hire, your insurance, and the petrol for the car.
Close to Guildhall in the City of London, our group has its own merchant bank, Old Broad Street Securities.
The usual merchant banking functions? Takeovers, mergers, that sort of thing?
Yes, and we have a particular interest in property. We run a successful property bond, and we specialize in financing property development.
The access here of this unit is very good. In fact, I think the development itself, with the dividing up of the units and the loading bays, will make a wonderful development here.
Doesn't the landscaping at this end of the site by the canal add to the amenity value of the site as a whole?
Yes, it's a very, very pretty entrance situation to an industrial estate, and quite unique, I think. If you come in through Beresford Avenue there, you immediately see this nice canal with all this trees and so on round the factories.
One thing about property, it does get city types out of their offices to see things for themselves.
That can't be bad.
You were saying earlier that these units down here let very quickly.
Very quickly indeed. The smaller ones here and over behind us, very quickly indeed. We have one or two structural problems with these units over here because of the main services going underneath them right through to London.
And here's another of our merchant bankers away from his desk. He's from the Leeds office of Old Broad Street Securities. He's visiting the headquarters of an old established Yorkshire firm, Hillard's, to talk with one of their joint managing directors. Hillard's are in the grocery business. They've been a well-known family concern for years, and now they want to become a public company, with their shares quoted on the stock exchange. They have supermarkets and shops in many north of England towns, and they're expanding fast. But it costs money to make your business grow, and Hillard's need more capital. With the help and advice of Old Broad Street Securities, it was decided to go public and sell more than 1.5 million of the company's shares. The offer price for each of the shares is fixed, and the prospectus duly makes its appearance in the financial press. A couple of days later, the applications are pouring in. The city has decided it's onto a good thing with Hillard's, and cheques for millions of pounds are tossed over the counter like confetti. Not all new share issues generate excitement among investors, but this one is obviously a winner. Thousands more applications come in by post, When they're all counted, it's found that the issue has been oversubscribed by 118 times. The question who actually gets the shares is worked out at a meeting held within hours of the close of the application list. A few days later, trading in the new shares begins on the stock markets. A new name, Hillard's, takes its place in the daily list of share prices. Here's where we go international again.
Really? Where are we?
Wembley, near London Airport.
Well, that's not particularly far-flung.
No, but the work we do here is of international importance. These are the laboratories of Wool Testing Services International.
One of your companies?
Yes. Among other things, they carry out tests on wool samples. Now here you see the wool as it came from the sheep's back, being washed to determine the clean content.
So buyers know what they're buying?
Yes, and the sellers know what they're selling. The certificates we issue go all over the world, including Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union. And we've laboratories in 24 countries. Another UDT company, London Textile Testing House, examines textiles of all kinds. This machine rubs away at a piece of carpet to see how well it will wear. And another which determines how strong a fabric is.
I like a bit of tension in a film.
One of the many tests carried out by London Textile Testing House concerns the testing of night dresses for compliance with the night dress safety regulations. In this test, a flame is applied to the night dress for 12 seconds. Here's a nylon night dress. We'll try and see if this burns. Although nylon doesn't burn, it does in fact melt and cause drips, and these drips can cause serious burns. Here's a cotton night dress. We'll now see if this burns.
London docks.
Don't tell me you run them.
No, but we finance a lot of the exports shipped out from here through our subsidiary, International Finance and Services. It's managed by one of our globe-trotting executives, Harold Simpson Cook.
We finance all classes of goods, electronic computers, machine tools, vehicles, agricultural machinery, pedigree racehorses, herds of pedigree cattle. Transactions vary from £1,000 or £2,000 up to £10 million. The most interesting part of the job for me is meeting overseas buyers and British exporters and helping in negotiating transactions to a successful conclusion and realizing that they will in due course become part of British exports.
You keep claiming you're very internationally minded.
Yes, we're strong in Australia and New Zealand. It's not for nothing that Captain Cook's Endeavour is our group symbol.
Uh-huh.
And we've companies in Canada, Ireland, South Africa, and elsewhere in Africa. They do most of the things we do here in the UK. And like us, they're growing fast.
These long-term plans that we've been looking at here in London just are simply not good enough. And as Managing Director of UDT International, I have to ultimately carry the can for their performance. Now, the man who's trading...
I'm Alec Thompson. In Canada, we have 15 offices from Halifax on the Atlantic seaboard right across to Vancouver on the Pacific coast.
Harry Tankard from Australia. We're strong in property finance. We recently issued 20% of our equity to the Australian public to give us closer identification with the local scene.
Ian Summers from South Africa. We operate as a general bank and have a wide spread of business, including leasing and industrial installment credit.
Stephen Hyman. UDC New Zealand is the leading industrial finance group, and last year our shares were the growth leader on the New Zealand Stock Exchange.
I'm Dennis Byrne on UDT Ireland. Irish membership of the common market will give us a lot of opportunities, and we're busy preparing for these.
We have a subsidiary in Zurich, helping to finance international trade. And we've banking links in all the common market and EFTA countries.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch?
Exactly. This is Eastcheap, near the Tower of London. Headquarters of the entire UDT group, now organised into 4 different divisions. Banking, finance house, industrial, and overseas. Not to mention a group internal servicing division.
Hello, Alec. Welcome back to the bridge. Hello, Gilbert.
Who's your man at the top?
The chairman? A New Zealander, Sir Alexander Ross, another globetrotter. Sir Alexander has in fact just come back from visiting Australia and Canada. With a group like UDT, he has to spend a lot of time overseas.
I guess we better get up to the board meeting. We'll have a yarn after. Is that all right with you?
All's arranged, all days on. And
all's well?
I think you'll be, yes.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
This is a particularly interesting meeting of the board of UDT.
Oh? Why?
Well, the directors are to be given details of an important new development in the history of the group. Something quite new in our services to the public.
Now, we have been looking at the position as it may be in years to come, and we feel very firmly the time has come for us to get closer to the consumer. And at the moment, our branches are located in second, third floor premises, usually out of the way, not in the centre of the towns, and this has not been considered to be an ideal base from which to get a closer relationship with the consumer. So we have now decided to open some new branches, new bank branches, which we're going to call money centres. And initially there will be 12 as a kind of pilot scheme to test out our theories. These will be in places like Coventry, Hull, Ilford, Ipswich, Manchester, Nottingham, Preston, Reading, Romford, Sunderland, Swindon and York are the initial 12. Their principal business will continue still to be the lending of money, but they will also offer full banking facilities. That is to say, we will open savings and current accounts, we will offer insurance packages and various other banking facilities like travellers' cheques and foreign exchange and so on.
And so we're planning to put up a new sign in Britain's high streets. Something we think really will fulfill a public need.
Would you like to take a seat, please?
Thank you.
I understand you're interested in one of our credit loan plans.
Yes, well, we haven't got anything in mind just at the moment, but I get a pretty good monthly salary. But it seems to be the unexpected expenses which seem to catch us out. Some months we're pretty flush, and other months we're scraping around trying to find the money.
Yes, of course, when we have any extra we spend it, then the next month we just haven't got anything left.
Yeah, this month's a particular example. I've got the tax and insurance on the car, and if I'm going to get it to the MOT, I really need a new set of tyres.
Well, it sounds to me as though what you need is our UDT credit line. Now, what you do is this. You decide how much you can comfortably afford each month out of your salary. This can be as little as £6 per month or as much as £12 per month. Now, this facility gives you 30 times the amount of your monthly payment to draw when you need it.
How will all this affect your traditional business?
Here's the Assistant Managing Director of our finance house, Ian Miller.
Well, over a period of years, the instalment credit division of UDT has been built up through what we call point-of-sale business. That is, for one example, if you want to buy a car, you can go into a dealer's showroom and negotiate there to purchase that car and obtain UDT facilities for it without, in fact, having to go into a UDT branch office at all. This is a substantial part of our existing business, and we expect it to remain so in the years to come.
So there you are. That's what United Dominions Trust is all about now, and a glimpse of what we plan for the future.
Is this the end?
You want more?
What I wanted to know was, why did we see those pictures of racing cars at the beginning?
Oh, just another of our activities. One company in our group, Laystall Engineering, makes crankshafts for Grand Prix cars.
I say, what versatile chaps you are.
Shall we have a little music?
Why not?